Hi, it's Yadira, Happy Healthy Latina, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm a certified holistic health coach and a natural food chef in training. But most importantly, I am obsessed with delicious and nutritious food and with bringing it to you and your family without hurting your pockets or your health. So are you guys ready for what I've got today? It's a good one. I am super excited about it, and it is sofrito. That's right, sofrito, people. So this is going to be a take on our traditional Dominican sofrito, because sofrito came to Latin America and the Caribbean a long time ago, and girlfriend has gotten around. It came originally from Spain and the Mediterranean, where it was called sofragite, and you can even find references to it as early as 1324 in cookbooks. And then when it came to Latin America, we kind of did our thing to it and added a lot of new spices and seasonings to it. And today I'm going to do just that, and I'm going to take a recipe from my mother and I'm going to tweak it just a little bit by adding one new happy and healthy ingredient. So are you guys ready to get cooking or get blending? Because really you just have to blend it and store it and then use it as the base of your dishes every time that you cook, and it will really change the flavor profile. And as an added plus, it's got so many added health benefits that we'll talk about along the way. So let's get going. What you're gonna need today is 2 onions. I use a Spanish onion and a red onion, about 4 to 5 peppers, and we do a mix of peppers. We use red peppers, green peppers, and cubanelle peppers, which are these Latin peppers. I would normally also use ajicitos dulce, which are sweet peppers, but if you can't find those, they look like little habaneros, but they're sweet, you go ahead and use these cubanelle peppers, which are pretty easy to find in the Latin area of your supermarket or in a Latin supermarket. And some turmeric, which is our happy, healthy, secret added ingredient, which is in the natural adobo that we made last week. And you can actually find this in a lot of Latin seasonings, turmeric. So some people use achote or anato for color, and we're gonna just go ahead and use the turmeric for the added health benefits for color. So let's get started. So we're gonna start just by adding to our blender, and you can use a blender or a food processor, our onions and our peppers, and those are pre-chopped onions and peppers, and I just like to give them a rough chop so that it's easier to work its way around the blender. But I'll show you guys really easily. I've halved an onion here, and I kind of just make a bear claw with my hands, and I grip my knife and I kind of pinch the blade, and I let the knife hit the knuckle. That's kind of a very safe way to cut. And this is what chefs do, so that's my little chefy tip for you guys. This is a huge onion. And it's a really great way to start practicing, especially on things that are going into the blender, because it has a rough kind of cut on it. Doesn't really matter how it looks. But once you start getting into the habit of doing this for all your dishes, you kind of start really refining your cutting and getting better cuts and the kind of stuff you see in restaurants that you really enjoy on your meals. So you can just go ahead and bring that technique on home. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this other onion that I have here and throw it in. And like I said, sofrito is something that has a lot of different variations to it, but my variation just has the added turmeric, but something that I really love that Dominican Sofrito has in it is apple cider vinegar, or vinegar. It already had vinegar in it, and I just decided to use raw apple cider vinegar, and I found this in my Associated today for $3, which was a really great price. And what I love about this vinegar is that since it's raw, it has antimicrobial and antibacterial properties to it, so it's really healthy for your immune system, really good for weight loss, really good for cleansing your gut, and it helps to also, if you're diabetic, it helps your insulin resistance. So it's something that helps naturally regulate your blood sugar, so it's something that you want to be using. So I'm already crying a little bit from these onions because they're so fresh. And I'm going to go ahead and just use 2 tablespoons of this inside of my sofrito. And then the other thing we're going to use is a good quality olive oil, because the olive oil and the vinegar are actually going to help preserve your sofrito. It's not just going to add flavor to it, but it's part of what helps to keep it fresh and kind of good in the fridge. So we're gonna use 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. And I like choosing olive oils that are kept in dark containers because that's usually a healthier, better quality olive oil. It's an easy trick to differentiate. So I'm gonna go ahead here and use 1/4 cup. And since this is the good stuff, it's dripping out real nice and slow. So we're just gonna get that going there. So the thing about sofrito is that it's even been scientifically proven. That's right, you heard me. Scientifically proven to be good for your health. So I'm not just making this stuff up here. There was a study that was released in a medical journal that talks about the natural benefits of sofrito. And it says that when you mix olive oil, onions, and garlic and tomato, it releases more polyphenols and carotenoids, and that's just really another fancy way to say it's really good for your heart, it's really good for your blood pressure, it's really good for your body, and it's that specific mixture. So this is why you want to be making your own sofrito instead of buying a store-bought one. And again, you want to use the mix of the olive oil, the garlic, the onion, and at least the tomatoes in your sofrito recipe. So these are the Cubanelle peppers that I was talking about, and these are sweet peppers. So if you cannot find a ajicito dulce, you go ahead and use this. And what I'm doing right now is actually I'm just cutting off the tops of the peppers, so just the stems, because I want to keep the seeds intact. So some people remove the seeds from the pepper for the sofrito, but since these are sweet peppers and these are not hot peppers, I can use the seeds. They actually add more flavor and sweetness into the sofrito. So that's something that may be a little different. You don't need to de-seed them. Just go ahead and keep them. So again, I'm just gonna give this stuff a nice rough chop. And we're gonna go ahead and get it in here. And then I've got 2 heads of garlic. So 2 heads, not cloves, 2 heads. And I've already peeled these. I've just lost an orange. And I'm gonna go ahead and add them in there. And then I'm going to add my bitter orange. Not sure if you guys have worked with this before. It's just like a regular orange, but it's just, you know, a bitter one. And how you can find these is they're a little green on the outside, and it adds a nice acidic taste to your sofrito, also a natural punch, and even more vitamin C, because peppers have a lot of vitamin C in them already. So you're adding already the vitamin C from the peppers, plus from your bitter orange, and I've got kind of just a orange squeezer here. But if you don't have one of these, just, you know, reserve the seeds. For these, yeah, you don't want to eat these seeds. So I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze my bitter orange in here. And I really love how, you know, people have different recipes for sofrito because it adds like a signature flavor to your dishes. But again, the most important thing is to just be making your own sofrito, because using all of these natural ingredients instead of a processed seasoning to start your meals off brings such a fresh quality and healing quality. So if you start your meals with one good thing for yourself, start with this flavor bomb. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my recao or my culantro, and this is what it looks like. It's kind of got a way wider leaf than your cilantro, and you just need 1 bunch of this, and it does have a different flavor profile than the cilantro, so you definitely want to go ahead and get culantro and cilantro. And then I'm gonna actually just blend this up a little bit to get it going so that I can put more things into here. This is a big batch. That gives me some space to kind of work more in the blender. So if your blender is kind of getting filled up, just go ahead and blend a little bit and make some space, and then you can add your other ingredients. So we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of these peppers in there. And like I said, I'm leaving the seeds in these peppers because they have flavor in them. So I want them. gonna go ahead and add 1 bunch of cilantro. So I've used some organic cilantro here, and I think whenever possible, try to use organic ingredients for your sofrito, because think about this not just as flavor, but think about it as healing. So you really want to get, you know, the vitamin A, the vitamin C, the compounds from these fresh vegetables. So whenever possible, just try to choose an organic variety for your cilantro, for your sofrito, or talk to the farmer at the farmer's market. A lot of times they're using what's called non-conventional practices. So you are not getting the organic label, but they're not using any like very harsh pesticides. So it's still really good for you. So it's a good way to get a price break. So we're gonna add, oh my god, this smells so good already. It's like the most flavorful salsa sauce you've ever had in your life. And when I was on the Chew last month, I definitely brought some to the cast and to the producers and left it for them. Getting that nice beautiful color, and once I have all my ingredients in, I'm really just gonna let it go for a long time. And so then I'm adding that other component that I talked about that makes it release those really healthy polyphenols and carotenoids, which is the tomato. And so it's once this stuff hits the heat, that's when it really starts to release all of its properties, healing properties and flavor. So you're going to store it, and then you're going to use it as the base of your dish. So where you would normally use carrots and onion and garlic, you can use this in place, or you can use it in addition and really wow people on the flavor side. So I'm just going to go ahead and add all the peppers that I have here. I pretty much give this to everybody during the holidays. I make a batch about 2 or 3 times a month. And I like to make different colors depending on what the dish kind of calls for. And now we're gonna add one of our superstars, because these are all superstars, because when you combine all of these things together, also they become what's called more bioavailable. So it's easier, it's proper food combining, so it's easier for your body to grab the nutrients from it, and there's more goodness for you there. So the last ingredient that I'm going to use is turmeric, and I spoke about this when I made the natural adobo, but I used powdered turmeric. Today I'm using some fresh turmeric, and this is what it looks like. It can kind of be big like this, or it can look like little worms like this, and this is the good stuff, guys. This is the really good stuff. It's got what's called curcumin that I've spoken about before, and that stuff helps to fight cancer, helps to break up tumors, helps in a big way to fight inflammation. So if you're suffering from things like rheumatoid arthritis or osteoporosis, or it's a huge digestive aid, physicians call it, you know, the magic spice or the healing spice. And it also brings a nice natural color to things. So you really can't lose on this front. So I'm just gonna add 3 pieces of turmeric because I don't wanna alter the flavor of the sofrito, I'm just adding to it. And every generation, when you get your sofrito passed out, you kind of put your little touch or your little tweak on it. You know, everybody has their own little combination. And this is my addition to my family sofrito. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there, and then anything that's garbage, kind of get it off my board. But then all these little bits that are kind of left over, I'll just go ahead and get it in there. Waste not, want not. And then we're gonna give this a really nice blend. Ready? And this is it. We have made some super delicious fresh sofrito. So I filled up this whole jar, so this is gonna be good for a long time. I'm gonna have this for the rest of this month at least. And this is how I like to store my sofrito. I don't like to put it in plastic containers unless they're BPA free, because plastic can kind of leach stuff into your food. So I like to prepare it and put it into a glass mason jar. So the bit that I'm going to use, I always put it right into a glass mason jar. And then what I also like to do, and here's a tip, is, guys, I just remembered I forgot to put in my oregano, so we're just gonna go back because this is a really essential ingredient. So we're just gonna do that over real quick. I was looking at it there from the corner of my eye, and it's super important. Whether you add a Dominican oregano, which is what I prefer, a Latin oregano, or you get your hands on an Italian oregano, that's fine. My tip last week was to get your hands on a non-irradiated spice, so a spice that hasn't been through high heat. This one is grown on a farm in Dominican Republic, so I'm just gonna go back and pop in 3 tablespoons of that oregano, because we definitely want all of these ingredients in there, so it's super important. Okay, so now I'm just gonna give that a quick blend. Okay, do-over. Here we go, for real. So now we've got those peppers, that cilantro, we've got the onions, the turmeric, the tomatoes, the garlic, the onion, all dancing together, all of the healing benefits of all of them layered on top of each other, and this just creates an intense amount of flavor. I mean, if you could smell this right now, if you've ever smelled fresh sofrito, it's crack. And you know why it's worth making your own. So this is the other tip I was gonna give you. I love taking, in order to have, like, if you like having fresh seasoning fast on the go, I like to take an ice cube tray and I actually fill up my sofrito into my ice cube tray. These are little hearts, so I'm gonna have little heart ice cubes of sofrito. And then you just take these and you fill it up and you put it in your freezer, and you have fresh little cubes of flavor whenever you want to just have an individual portion. If not, I would use about 2 or 3 tablespoons every time you cook. So I'm just gonna take mine and put mine in my freezer. So I'll have those there for a future date whenever I like. It's also a really great way to keep it. So you guys see how easy it was to make your own fresh sofrito, and that's why I really recommend making it, because it's very nutritionally superior to a product like this, which is a Goya sofrito, which when I look at it makes me very sad because it has artificial ham bone in it. It has 95 milligrams of sodium per serving, and it says that it doesn't have enough vitamin C or vitamin A or calcium or iron, enough of a significant amount to even count. This, on the other hand, same thing, although so much better, so flavorful, smells so fresh, and it has the vitamin A, the vitamin C, the probiotics, the antimicrobial, the healing agents, everything, just by making it yourself. So this is what I would call truly fast food, and something that you have to make yourself. I'll post the recipe online. If you have any questions or any videos or specific recipes you'd like to see me do, just give me a shout online at Happy Healthy Latina. Until the next time, I'm off to use this delicious sofrito for some wonderful beans and rice tonight. Bye bye!